You know how when you meet people for the first time, either male or female, you actually wouldn't really know what's, the life cycle of that relationship would be, or if it even amounts to become a relationship. I have been lucky enough to meet certain type of human beings that have changed my life in different ways. And today on the PsychOfTinz, I have a very, very special person here today. But guess what? It's my birthday! Yay! So on my birthday's edition, I decided that I wanted someone who knows me, right? That knows me very well. Typically, I would have called my sister. Mimi, should have been you. But I thought I should call this wonderful woman, this wonderful human being who, how we met was really interesting. And we're going to dive into that story. Hi, girl.
Hola.
I'm so happy we're doing this.
I'm happy. And for a moment, I was like, is she talking about me? Someone about to come out of the curtains, but it was, it was me.
It's you. How are you, baby?
I'm lovely.
Thank you so much.
You look lovely, as always.
The new look.
Yeah, I love it. And
Really?
You know what I love about you is how you want a new look and you just go for it. There's no...
I don't waste time.
What am I going to... Yeah, I love it.
I don't think about it.
All of... local, all of it. You just... I like
so
it.
This is my second attempt to try natural hair or to go natural, right? Yeah. I tried it, I think a couple of years ago. I went
2020
skin.
Or 21?
It was 21. It was 21.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, I went bald. I just scraped my hair, gorimakwa. And it was, for me, I wanted to see how I would look bald, and I loved it completely. So today, we have a cup in our hands, but it's not what you think that's in the cup. So this cup basically is for me to answer questions about different aspects of life, and Bofa will be the one asking me that question.
Yeah.
But before we dive into that, I wanted to talk about how myself and Bofa's relationship started. Yeah. Should we tell everyone?
I want to hear it.
It's pretty unique. And I think for the first time in my life, meeting you kind of made me realize that you find love in places that you never expect to find love. And this is me talking about, and when I say love, I'm not actually referring to the romantic side of love. I'm referring to the platonic, the genuine kind of love that we all long for.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, if Bofa was a man,
we'd be married.
We'll be married by now.
We'd be married. And we would have such a lovely
We'll be married
relationship.
by now. Yeah, we would.
Yeah.
Because I think, okay, let's start from, we met 2020. Coincidentally, we were assigned to the same team in marketing.
Yeah.
And I was a rookie in marketing. I was going into a new field and I was scared out of my mind. And then I met this, before we met, I think we had an online call the first time. You were still in Abuja.
Yeah.
And then there was a call, like a meeting to introduce everyone in the team. And then I heard Bofamene Berepamo. And I was like, this girl sound like Ijo girl now. But I was like, let me not do too much. And then I think we had a conversation. You asked me, are you Ijo?
Are you Ijo? I remember asking you that.
And she said, are you Ijo? And I was like, yes, my mother is Ijo. She was like, yes. I think, she said, oh, we're going to be friends. But we were like, you made a statement. And I want to ask you why you said that.
What is it?
You said that you were scared that you would hurt me. I remember very well. And for me, it took me aback. Because first of all, you're a woman. And at that time, because at then we had not understood our relationship. Was just starting. So when you said, I think I would hurt you, it came from a place of, is it that this babe had met people in her past that, maybe some things happened and it just amounted to hurt? Or what really is the reason why she said what she said? So why did you say that?
I wasn't thinking about hurting you, like bringing a knife to you or anything. But I can be a bit absent when I'm needed to be present. And I know that you've experienced that with me, but you've shown me such grace, but it happens, right? So when I said hurt you, I thought about, what if one time you needed help hiding the body and I wasn't available?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I could just go away. And sometimes I wouldn't even explain. I'd just go away for a long time. So that's what I was thinking about.
So I think for me, when you said that, what I told, because a lot of the time when people say what they say, you have your own interpretation in your head.
Yeah.
And the interpretation I had when I heard what you said was that I don't think you've been loved enough. That's what I felt. But that's also like a stupid savior complex that you feel like, oh, you can love everyone or you can save everyone. But I felt like this person has given me the vibe that it's safe for me to love her. So the way you were foreseeing the end from the beginning, for me, it was like, maybe when she experiences my love, she wouldn't think this way anymore. And because you said what you said, it was now easy for me to understand how I was treading on the ground we were walking on. Yeah. I remember I think it was at the end of 2020, you had COVID.
Yeah.
Let me allow you to talk about that story, that COVID story.
So we were 8 people on the team.
Yeah.
And we all caught COVID. Except
me. True.
Except you.
True.
And you said it was all the stuff you were drinking at the time.
Babalawo. Yeah, if you don't know anything about me, guys, I am a semi-herbalist. So I get to... Again, this episode is for you to get to know me. But from Bofa's eyes, right?
A lot of concussions.
A lot of concussions. You would see me blending cucumbers, blending garlic and ginger and adding...
boiling stuff.
Yeah.
You know. But it works for you.
Yeah, it worked for me because all through the time, that COVID period, my father died of COVID. And I mean, we were in the house with him and I didn't have COVID. Your own experience was also mad because everyone in the team contacted COVID except me. So let's go back to the story.
I was just really, really sick.
Yeah.
And then I kept telling you, I'm not really feeling well. I couldn't do a lot of work. I was just off it. And then I remember, I think we went to, did we go to the COVID center together?
You went with an Uber.
Right. And then you were supposed to come there.
Yeah, something
And I kept
happened.
calling and saying, I want to leave because I was feeling so sick. I was like, I'm not going to stay. I want to go home. And you're just like, wait for a second. I was thinking I'm going to sit on the floor. I'm going to roll somewhere and all of that. And then eventually you came. And I think I was near tears at the time.
You had gotten your results.
Yeah. And I saw it and I just really broke down and I was crying a lot.
Oh my God.
And I was scared for you too for a bit because we had been talking. And we were always together.
I wasn't thinking.
And I was like, what if you
contacted? It was a very risky thing that I did.
It was worse for you. Just lost your dad to COVID. And I was very scared because
I wasn't thinking.
Seeing someone.
I think I had that confidence that I wasn't going to catch COVID.
Yes,
maybe it was because of the too many things I had been taking along the months and I knew that my immune system was strong. But still, it was scary for me. After I left your room, I was like, oh my God, I was hugging this girl, crying with her.
And you know what's funny? The person who took me to the hospital
contacted COVID. Yeah.
The person, I don't know, everybody that came around
but
me
I didn't catch COVID. Don't go and hug somebody that has COVID, please. Let's go back to me. I know I'm not a perfect person, right? And I know I'm very annoying.
Everybody is very annoying.
I am very annoying. But when you talk about, because I know you've said it a lot of the time about, my consistency. And I used to think I'm selfish because a lot of the time, when people want things from me, I measure to see, can I or can I not? But with you, I think it's easy because whenever you ask me for things, you've never asked me for anything in a selfish way.
Something that you couldn't give.
I mean, this lady used to stay at the second floor. We're neighbors eventually. We're colleagues and neighbors.
Yeah.
And she was staying on the second floor, I was on the first floor. When she moved in, I remember that the first thing I thought about was like, oh my God, my colleague is going to be my neighbor.
Hey, she's going to be here all the time.
Like
I remember you said that. You were like, don't come to my door all the time. And I was like, what?
Because I had to say it. You know me, I like to throw things out in a playful way. I was like, but if I don't come and knock on my door. And I'm sure in her mind, she was like, no. And to be honest, I was worried. Because I remember I mentioned it to our boss at the time, playfully. So I was like, now that Bofa is my neighbor, I really don't want her to like see it the wrong way when she maybe wants to hang out. But it was different. This woman would text me and say, I'm in a mood. Would you mind if I come around? This is a good time to come spend time with you. And a lot of the time, in that moment, I might not be in that headspace, but because of the way she was considerate of my time, it just made me feel like, okay, you know what? If I can rearrange my brain in 2 seconds, because it depends on how your mind is at the time.
At the time.
There are sometimes that when somebody says, oh, can I come through? And you're like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. But there's sometimes like, no. But you always have the right, you say it in a, I don't know how to explain it. I won't say you have my mumu button, but you say it in a way that I feel like, okay, yes.
I think I understand you.
You do.
More than most.
You actually do understand me.
I understand you. I understand you when you're speaking.
Right.
I understand you when you're not speaking. I understand the things that you will not speak, things you will not say. I get them.
Let's talk about friends now. You've met a couple of my friends and you've become friends with some of my friends.
Yeah.
How would you describe the friendship experience that I've put out in the world? Like, how would you describe that?
I think I'd describe it like, if you want to go around asking for stuff from people, you just know what to ask Alera. when to ask Alera. Because if you want, say, lights and it's bright outside, maybe Alera is not the person you want to ask for lights at that time. I think you've been very careful with your boundaries. You've been able to communicate boundaries, and that's sort of why your friendships are healthy. People understand that, okay, maybe this is not a good time. Maybe this is a good time.
Right.
And even when it's not really a good time for you, sometimes you make a concession like, okay, maybe this person just wants to listen for a while, and you're present. So the person knows that between now and 2 p.m., I am present, I'm listening to you. When it's 2 p.m., maybe I'm a little bit off. So I've seen the way that you are friends to people, and I see that, okay, you've established those boundaries early on and you're able to follow through with them, but that you still leave a little room for, okay, this is a human relationship, and if something just comes up, I'm going to flow with it. That's the way that I've seen a lot of your friends. That's why I'm even able to be friends with them, because I also have very strong boundaries.
Yeah, you're weird too. Very weird.
Yeah, so when I see people like that, I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is the right way to draw the line, or to go around with this person.
So I'm going to ask you some questions and you ask me some questions.
Okay.
What would you say is my flaw or my bad side that you've experienced?
I don't know. The question feels like when people ask, why do you love me?
Yeah.
Right?
Do you love me?
I do.
Let me rephrase the question. Why do you love me?
I love you. I wish it was an easy question to answer. Or if I could give you 4 reasons and say, this is why I love you. I love you because you're a very warm person. It means that someday if you stop being warm, I might stop loving
me.
And so for me, it's usually very difficult for me to put into words why I love people, right? But I know that the one thing I love the most about you is your spirit. You have this spirit, you don't get broken, you don't get down. And I remember, I think in November of 2020,
okay,
then I don't think we'd been even we've known each other for very long. Yeah. Something happened, and I was on the staircase. It was something about money or something, and I was crying.
Yeah, I remember.
I thought the world was going to end for me, right? And I was telling you, like, I was like, it's over. And I was just saying off stuff, and you were just there, like, you were just very, you're very. I don't want to call it strength, because sometimes, people keep saying you're so strong, and then you be strong even when you don't want to be strong. So it's not something I want to say, but you have a very strong spirit. I remember when we got caught up in this car mess. I think it was the same year or maybe the next year. And I was fidgeting. I was very scared. But you were just very put together, It's like the entire world is burning, but you see one part that's safe and you put your feet there and you're just like, okay, come over, I'm going to hold you across. So one thing I love about you.
Typically, growing up, I'd always been the calm, I won't say reserved, but you wouldn't know my real personality except you get to know me.
Know you.
When people see me for the first time, they have this impression of, oh, she's a what's that word that they use? Oh, she's mean, she's rude, and then I have a resting bitch face with my high cheekbones.
They're weirdos.
So if I'm not smiling, people be like, oh my god, this girl. But I learned how to mask, and which is not good, and it's basically from trauma. Right? I learned
how that happened to you.
Yeah, I learned how to mask my emotion a lot, in the sense that something could be happening, like. I could be having this conversation right now and I've gotten a message on my phone and the message is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to put my phone down and I'm going to continue like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And it's not because nothing happened. It's because I have learned to move on from hurt. I've been hurt a lot of time, and what I've noticed is that the person that hurts you, whatever that dynamic is neither good nor bad. It's just all about perspective, right? And for me, the perspective I've chosen to belong to is it doesn't have to be sunny all the time, but I'll choose to stand in the sun.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah. I'll choose to stand in the sun, because what would you benefit by sulking?
Yeah.
When that thing happened to you at the staircase that we were talking about, I mean, money is a big part of life that nobody teaches you how to spend money. Nobody teaches you how to make money.
Lots of us, nobody.
Right?
Really.
Because I mean, I remember I was giving you my story when you were telling me that, like, post NYSC, the first thing I wanted to do was to move out of my dad's house. And the reason was because I wanted that independence. I wanted to start embracing my individuality. I felt like the moment I'm still in daddy's house, I'll still be collecting daddy's money. I won't be responsible. That's how I felt. So I moved out, started working at, Jumia. I was doing good. But I was living with a friend. I moved out, still staying with a friend. And then I decided to get my own place. So I get the money from? How much was my salary? And then that was when I made the first decision to borrow money, which was a very, I mean, at the time I was happy because I was like, oh, but now I'm looking at it like, okay.
Yeah, like maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done
started
that.
that way.
I shouldn't have started that way. So because I started in a very rough way and I had beaten myself up about not having money, being in debt, not being able to afford certain things. So when that situation happened with you, for me, I was thinking about it that if I had someone who would be there for me, who can even make me understand that this is a phase.
Yeah, and you gave me a lot of lessons.
It took me experience and life to learn that that's only temporary and you shouldn't even dwell on it.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to channel my experiences and my feelings. And when bad things happen, I remember I was with one of my friends. In fact, this experience is mad. I was with this guy and we're gisting, and I received an email with a rejection. It was a rejection email from then I was looking for a job.
Yeah.
So it was a rejection email, and I just opened it and I saw that we're sorry to
Yeah.
I just dropped my phone and I continued talking. And he heard me read out the email. I was like, that was a rejection email. Are you okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, I beg, can we continue what I was saying?
Same.
Like, yes, I'm hurt. But
you just don't dwell on it.
Why would I want to do that?
Yeah. That requires a lot of strength.
Like, it's not easy. I will not lie to you. But I just ask myself a lot of the time, why would I soak in this experience?
Is that something like that you learned from like your family? Is that something like your dad gave to you? Because I think
I must have learned it from my father.
Yeah.
It's definitely not my mom. I must have learned it from my dad. And I think for my dad, he had been the person that how would I explain? My dad was very assertive.
Yeah.
He was someone that if something bad is happening, he explains to you why.
Yeah.
That's the reason, that's how I approach all my relationships now. I will never put you in a position, whether you're my friend or you're my lover, I will never put you in a position whereby you have to start wondering where my place is or how I feel about you. Because I know how that, I don't want to, but I know how that with your mind.
Yeah.
The fact that you like someone and you're wondering, how do you see me? I mean,
are you here?
Are you here? No, I don't like it.
It reminds me of this Katy Perry song, Hot and Cold.
Yeah, you're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no. Like you're in and you're out. You're like, up and you're down. Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
It's not necessary. So a lot of the time, my experiences have basically taught me to be present. You meet people, you experience people, and whatever comes out of that, you take it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really difficult to allow those kind of things happen. But
you know, if someone doesn't really know you, they'd be like, "This, do you practice this all the time?" But because I've seen you practice this, I've seen you, and you've even told me sometimes, like, just stay, like, be in the moment. Because me, I'm like 5 miles ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've learned to be present because of you, which is a good thing because it's your birthday. It's another trip around the sun, a lot of lessons learned, a lot of things you've done.
Oh, yes.
The good, the bad, the horrible. And I feel like it's important to kind of put some of those lessons out there, right? So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Okay. You can tell me how you've handled stuff in the last 365 days.
Let's go.
Or more, and let's just see. So, this is our red cup, by the way. So we're going to start taking our drinks from here. Okay, so these questions are just random. Oh my God.
Wait. How would it be that the first one you pick is like...
It feels like this ties into everything that we've been talking about. This is about balancing financial priorities.
Okay.
Especially for us girlies, you know, you're living alone. You've been independent your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, you've had to do all of it your own way, on your own, from rent to... even to other people. And I know that a lot of people call you for a lot of stuff, right? And you're very selfless. I don't know if I should say this on camera, but I remember early on when we met, you gave me money. And then one day you were like, don't give me back the money. And you were crying. You were crying. Like, you were really crying. You were like, why is this so tough? You know, like, why should you be, like, just, you know?
Like, you know, for me, and let me even go back to that experience. So for me, hey, God.
I remember that. How do you balance all of that?
With that experience, mostly, if I'm your friend, I expect that there are certain things that I tell you or talk about, and you are supposed to be sensitive to everything I say.
Yeah.
But when you know that there are certain people that this person is not like that, when you were in that position, I pictured myself in that position, and I thought about it that if I'm crying to a friend or even talking to a friend about this, you know, issue, you were venting, you were just venting. And I remember that day, it's not like I even had a lot of money with me, but for me, I felt like if it was me, I would expect you to do. See,
Something
you see the
about
barest minimum.
Yeah.
We need to amplify what people refer to as the barest minimum.
Yeah. Like
the
it's the least you could do.
Do you understand? The barest minimum is do unto others what you want others to do to you. For me, I'm able to, the balance with finance, like I said, I had a rough experience when it came to finances.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't taught. You know, everybody will tell you to invest. Everybody will tell you that, oh, let's do. I had to learn the hard way. I had to be broke. I had to be in debt. I had to, you know, I remember there was a time that I would, once I get my salary, how much is the money? I'll finish paying basic.
Yeah.
What's remaining is like, and they are like, oh, I will eat, I will transport myself to work. Like that early stage of being responsible adults.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny.
It's never funny.
But thankfully, working in a bank also sort of helped me to understand finance and understand. Because working in the bank basically made me understand that borrowing money is not bad. You have to just be able to do these things. So I learned from friends, I learned from experiences, then my work environment, of course, helped me to, you know, channel. And then right now, I'm now able to put finances towards what's important.
Yeah.
And because the truth of the matter is that nobody's going to save you.
Yeah.
If you think somebody's coming to save you,
no one is
coming to save you. Because even me too, back then I used to think that let me one uncle or one auntie come and help me. But
you know what no one's coming to save you does for you is it gets you prepared for yourself. But you saved me. You've saved me a lot of times. So I'm not a preacher of no one's coming to save me. I'm not expecting it, right? But if it comes, you know,
I think it's because for me, I felt like if I have somebody that can do this for me, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me see if I can ask you.
Okay.
Because we have to do give and take in this. How can friendship evolve?
Time. I know that time is very important.
But that thing is one kind.
Yeah. Time is so important because we can't be best friends on day 1. I agree. But we could be best friends on day 25. Another thing that helps beyond time, intentionality actually helps.
I agree.
I'm very intentional about you. And you're very intentional about me.
I'm intentional about people I choose to love. I choose to love people.
Yeah.
No matter how anybody makes it look, I choose to love people.
Yeah.
And I remember and for me, it's when you give me that energy.
Yeah.
Dakbada. Like I'm giving it back.
Yep.
I'm matching it. I'm not only just going to match it. I don't even care whether I am exceeding it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, you've given me I feel like I have so much love to give.
Yeah.
And I agree it's trauma. Like there's no one that would make me feel like, oh, this isn't trauma. It's trauma. Right?
Tell me about
from my mom and my dad dynamics, and my dad had been the one growing up. My dad had so much love to give, and that was where it came from. So for me, I'm like, if you can make somebody's life better and he's not going to take anything from you, why not? And that's the reason why I'm able to give as much as I give.
Okay, I have another question here. Mental health and relationships. I know that you're a big advocate for mental health.
I am.
And I think I want to ask this core, like when you date someone or you're with someone, do you take time to understand how this person deals with their mental health? Are they the kind of person that, do they have good coping mechanisms? Do they fall apart? How do you balance that, relationships and mental health?
If I'm going to be very honest, that's an aspect of a relationship that I am looking forward to experience. Because I would say as an adult, now with everything that I know, like I said earlier, that I want to intentionally love people. I want to intentionally be in relationships with people, just like the relationship I have with you. So I would really I pay attention to how they treat themselves. That's the first thing I do. How do you treat yourself? Do you forgive yourself? Do you have compassion on yourself? Do you curse yourself? Do you beat yourself up all the time when something doesn't go right? How do you love yourself? So I know that sometimes it's difficult for us to act. Like when you say you want to do something, it's difficult to practice it really. But a lot of the time, how I think about it is, show me how you love, and then I'll choose
if I want to be a part of that.
If I want to participate. But now here's the thing. Because we want a certain type of outcome from the relationship, a lot of the time we get distracted and not pay attention to those kind of things. So I would say that being able to manage your mental health is very important to me.
Yeah.
Because how you love yourself is going to determine how you react to me.
Yeah.
I can come say something to you and it will trigger you and you're like, but I'm just asking you a question that I didn't even know that this is a trigger.
Yeah.
It's how the person sees himself that is now reflecting on me.
Yeah.
So if I don't have that mental strength, I'll find myself succumbing and bending over backwards because I like this person and I want to be in this person's life. But you're seeing that this person is not even able to handle his or her own mental, is not so mental aware.
Yeah.
And then it affects you.
Yeah.
So you have to choose who you allow in your life. I know that sometimes we just, we meet somebody, goods, you're having butterflies and all of those things. But we forget that that's just the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
There are several aspects of life that you need to focus on, and you need to know that, okay, if push comes to shove, will this person be available for me? And it doesn't, like I keep saying, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be a platonic relationship. We're both straight girls, but we love each other so much, and it's because of the kind of transparency that we've been able to create for ourselves. I mean, this conversation is awesome, and I'm glad that this is the first time I'm speaking about most of these things I'm talking about. And I'm glad that you are the one that got to ask me this and got to experience this with me. I'm so happy.
Okay, and I know that we're just winding down.
Yes, we are.
So I want to say something first and ask you like my final question.
Okay.
So I don't remember the book, but I read somewhere a guy said that when he would meet people, right? I don't remember. So I'm going to paraphrase. This guy, he meets a woman, right? And he takes her somewhere. So he takes her on a journey. Sort of like how you talked about how people love you based on how they love themselves.
Yeah.
So they go on a journey together. And when they come out of the other side, he sees that he's all, dirty, like he's all stained up on the face. Maybe there's like there's blood somewhere, there's ash, or there's just something dark, right? But his partner doesn't have anything on her face, right? But when they come out on the other side, his partner looks at him and she feels she has something on her face too. So no matter how he tries to shrug it off, she's going to be feeling conscious about the fact that, if there's something on this person's face, then there's something on my face. And I know that this is a very pivotal time in your life, and you're on this journey, right? Are you taking the time to check the faces that you're seeing, the things that come at you, to ensure, because you're a founder, you work, you're a mental health advocate, you're representing businesses, there's a lot of mirrors just everywhere. So are you making sure that nobody's throwing things at you that aren't actually on you? Practicing that love, that self-love, are you doing that?
That's actually intense. I am doing it consciously. I remember when I mentioned to somebody I respect. I mentioned to the person that, oh my God, this place that I'm in is really toxic and I need to leave. If I continue working here, I'm going to lose myself. And I remember the person said, okay, if you're going to go, what are you going to do? I think you should stay one more year, manage, You know how the Nigerian culture just makes you want
everywhere.
You're in a toxic place, but they say, manage now. You're tough, you have
bills to pay, there are things to do, so just...
And I remember I said, okay, I was going to go into consulting. And the person said, you're not experienced enough to be a consultant. I already do this thing. It's just not on paper. Because I know where I'm going to. I had to protect myself so much that right now, there are people that I love with all of my heart and I've cut them off. And when I say cut them off, we're not fighting, but we're not speaking. And I don't know the impression or the conclusion they've made in their head. But as far as I'm concerned, it's because I am protecting myself. And I'm not saying they are bad. I'm just saying I don't want to be influenced. If you're going to stress me one bit, I am going to cut you off. And it's not because, I'm trying to... If you're going to question me in a way that...
puts you down, makes you question yourself.
I will look at myself and say, look, I'm not good enough. I'm going to... it's okay. I mean, I'm not perfect. I am somebody that I keep learning from my mistakes, and I'm very vulnerable enough to say, yes, I'm sorry, I've done this. And I believe that... Turning 36 is... I know I look 26. I get that all the time.
You do.
So turning 36 is like... I ain't got time, man. I don't have time to dwell on whatever. You don't like me? That's fine.
That's fine.
Oh, you like me? Oh, nice. I like me too. I like me too. So, I mean, Bofa, thank you.
Thank you
so much for joining me today. I mean, on the episode of this is a birthday episode.
Yep.
Psychology of Things really is all about sharing your thoughts around, different topics on how it can affect your mental health. And I'm happy we touched everything.
Everything,
we touched
actually.
Family, money, health, love, relationships, friends.
Yeah.
One of the most important thing that I would like to say before we close today's episode of Psych of Things is that no matter who you are, no matter what your experience is, I feel like you should always put yourself first, no matter what anyone says. Because the moment you start putting people in front of you, you keep suppressing yourself, you keep suppressing your needs and your wants. And a lot of the time, most of the disappointment that I felt is as a result of other people choosing themselves. And you have to experience that to remind yourself that you have to choose yourself. Because every other person is actually choosing themselves anyway. So I'm glad you guys have gotten to learn a little bit about me. On the next episode of Psych of Things, expect amazing conversations. I'll see you next time. Bye.